Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to round 4 for the New Zealand BMW Race Drivers E-Series. And tonight we are at probably, well, it is for me, it's no probably about it. I don't know about anyone else. It doesn't matter. For me, the greatest racetrack in the world. We are at Spa, people. The Spa, the ultimate, the best. I don't know how many adjectives I can use to say the greatest of all time racetrack. Spa. Andrew Anderson joining me tonight. My name is Craig Lord. Andrew, am I right? Is it the greatest racetrack in the world?
Oh, look, it's got to be right up there in the top two, maybe.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, look, I've been privileged enough to be there, and I can see what the hype is about. And after I've done a lap around there, chatting with the likes of Giz, he goes, I suppose Giz has summed it up. He says it's special, and it certainly is.
Yeah, it really is indeed. We're on board at the moment with Gene Rollinson, who is currently leading the points championship. And let me run that down for you. There are still 2 more rounds after this. But Gene is on 127. Sam Dunstall is following in with 119. Matthew Griffin has moved and shuffled his way into 3rd spot. Now, he is a real-time BMW race drivers champion, and he was still getting to grips with this whole sim racing thing, and he sort of, Andrew, he snuck his way into 3rd position, and I didn't see that coming.
Well, yeah, look, I don't think it's sneaking's the right term. He's there on merit, and he's put the hard yards in, as we see one of the competitors in front of Gene just going wide. So, yeah, look, he's converting his real world experience to sim racing, as we see the session jump to an end, and
Yep.
we'll be heading straight into qualifying.
Yeah, that's right, and here it is. We're at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. I hope I said that right. It sounded really good, and
It's better than me.
it was quite romantic, actually. Thanks to Kiwi VoIP and Express Hydraulics for bringing this round to us. Yes, round 4. It is long. It is 6.93 kilometers. It takes a long time to get around this track. It is a solo effort for qualifying. So if you haven't been an avid follower of iRacing, there are 2 choices that can be programmed in. One of them is everybody goes out and qualifies at the same time, like a normal race meet. But in iRacing, you can set it up so you've got the track to yourself. And that is what we are seeing right now. And normally what they do is give you 1 warm-up lap and 2 hot laps. I assume I'm right here, Andrew. Is that what we've got again tonight?
Correct, yes, it's the typical iRacing format. So we've got an out lap here that Gene is underway with as he's heading up the long Kimmel Straight. And then they have 10 minutes time limit to get in their 2 timed laps.
Okay, so 2 timed laps around this wonderful track. And as I say, everyone is doing it on their own. So we're just going to randomly take a look at a few drivers. At the moment, we know Gene is going to be slick. He's going to be smooth and quick because he's leading the points championship. Let's go to Nicholas Lowndes, shall we? There we go. He's doing his thing. Now here's another question a lot of people have asked who don't understand gaming, Andrew, is the modeling of iRacing is so accurate that warming up your tires is a thing.
Definitely is a thing. We can see here he's taking an opportunity to just weave around a little bit. There's no point going off track, but no, the modelling is so realistic that these guys will get probably their best lap will be the first time lap, and given that it's 6.9 kilometres long, I would expect that the tyres will start to degrade towards the second half of the second lap.
Okay, that'll be interesting. And we do have a format that we have to follow tonight. It's time certain race, then a gap, and then a second time certain race. So we'll just let you know what happens. So now doing the brakes, doing it on. That's what everyone does. Let's go to Kieran Rollinson, shall we? See what he's doing. And there's a lot of blue. There's so many blue cars in iRacing right now. I've got to get people thinking a bit more. We've got to get them out of the picture here, out of the box, thinking different, although it does look very sharp, doesn't it?
It looks pretty racy, but certainly I've seen a sneak peek in practice of some of the cars. And let me just say, there's some very, very bright liveries out there, as well as these blue and blacks.
Yeah,
but, here we go. He's about to start his timed lap. He's coming into the final chicane. This is a very tight corner, and during the race for the second race, you can see the pit entry there, just off the top of screen. So here we go, starting his first time lap.
Okay, we might as well stick here. We might as well stay with Kieran Rollinson. Car number 7 and see how he goes. Into turn number 1, La Source. It is a first gear hairpin, and it is a serious hairpin. In fact, it's more than a hairpin. It's it's a pointy hairpin. There's no curve. It's just a point, and it's very hard. Into Eau Rouge, the most famous, I think, dip and turn in motorsport, and up into Kemmel Straight. Now, it takes a lot of bravery.
He's used a little bit too much track there, I think. I would... we can't see the graphic on board his car, but I would think that that's an off-track, and as we've talked about in the previous rounds, an off-track means that this lap will be deleted.
Oh dear.
So, let's see if it does in fact run true, as he's still pushing on.
Oh, well, you might as well do it as a tester, isn't it? You've only got 2 laps, so even if this one doesn't count, you might as well use it to dial yourself in. So we'll let him carry on. I want to jump down to one of the cars that I'm pretty sure has the wild graphics on it. This one of the ones? Yeah, here it is. Taylor Cockerton.
Oh, cute.
I mean, look at this. This thing is off its chops.
He's thrown the full set of crayons at that one, I can tell you.
And
Give
then
you the hot tip.
Yeah, and then he's used the hot air gun, and he's just let them dribble all over the car.
But it does look very sexy, I must say.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good bright livery on a pretty slick-looking race car.
Yeah, into turn number 7, 8, and 9. The combination of the right, left, and right is called Lecombe. And he will head downhill into a serious hairpin. Turn number 10.
Yes, it's a very tight corner. You hug the curb on the inside and then fire it downhill as we start the downhill section of Spa. A long run down here.
Known as Pouon, turn 12.
Yes. I was just trying to find my graphic here.
Well, this one here, whenever I do this track, Andrew, that one there, I end up going off track wide, and I cannot get my brain around being slow enough there to stay within the track limits. It's very hard. You just put your foot down, you know?
Yeah, I think you should stick to talking, Sooty, and not driving, even in the iRacing world.
Yeah, those who can do, those who can't, we just talk about it. Stavilo, turns number 15 and 16.
Jumping the curb a little bit on the inside, that's unsettled the car a little bit, as Taylor's now getting this high-speed run through Blachemont, if I've got that correct, through turn 17 and into 18. Real high-speed corner. This one requires a lot of commitment, and now it's risk versus reward under brakes here into the chicane.
First gear kind of stuff, isn't it? Yeah. And heads up past the start-finish line. 20 turns on this racetrack. Let's
just
go.
Got himself into the top of the timesheets there with a 17.6. So James Anderson had the fastest time at a 2:17.64, and Taylor went 2:17.60. So 0.04 of a second separating those two.
Absolutely nothing in it. Here is our guest driver for this evening. He is a very well-established race car driver, has had a lot of success pretty much in everything he drives. But instead of taking the path of being a professional race car driver, he ended up being a professional driver. And that means everything. He just drives everything, and that's his job. It doesn't matter if it's for training, for demos, for racing, whatever. He is not hamstrung by one thing. He does it all. Andrew Waite, and he now lives down in that wonderful Highlands Park circuit. And he's been there, God, how long? 5 years, it seems, at least.
He certainly has been one of the stalwarts there from the beginning, and working out of Tony Quinn's facility there. And like you say, benefiting from doing a lot of mileage around that very technical circuit. So something like Spa will be very accustomed for Andrew. He'll be quite at home in this technical layout.
Yeah, he will. And in fact, there's the one thing that was done with Highlands were certain parts of racetracks from around the world were brought in to Highlands. And you've done Highlands quite a few times. Come on, which part of Spa is at Highlands?
Yeah, look, there's so much of it that's very similar to European circuits. I mean, you've got, oh, here we go, Andrew's coming into the pit lane, so he's put down his fastest lap. Yeah, look, some of the corners like the carousel, although that's probably more akin to the Nordschleife, which is just down the road from Spa. But here we are on board with David Lawrence.
I think it's the bus stop, isn't it? Isn't bus stop the chicane? Isn't that what Quinn dragged into Highlands?
Yes, it's also that's from Watkins Glen as well, the bus stop. So it's sort of been copied across various circuits around the world.
Okay. So far we've got 9 times on the board. That's it. Only 9. There's a few guys, I don't know why, but they're sitting back and waiting. Maybe they're analysing. looking at the results board and just saying to themselves, okay, I know what I've got to achieve now, and this is what I have to do to get up there. And normally you would hang back and play a bit of tactics if there were all the cars out on the racetrack. When you're solo in a qualifying, you usually go by yourself and just go do it.
We've just seen a change in the order, and just another one as well. Sabo has just displaced James Anderson, who had managed to get ahead of Cockerton, and now Sabo has put himself into the pole position with a blistering 2:16.5 lap time, is it?
Yeah,
2:16.5,
half a second.
yes.
Half a second. Where did he find that? I was talking about him yesterday when he was doing another race in a different league, and he has a different style of driving the sim, and it works, and it's kind of unique, and we'll follow him during the race and see if people can pick up on what he does. It's out there. We want to go to, how about we go to Jared Bajent, shall we, who's just decided to go nowhere, sit in the middle of the circuit. Cam Cairns, one of the last ones out there. There's only 4 drivers out on the track at this stage, and only 22 seem to have times, but they're not coming up on our timing board just yet. So I guess it will be refreshed shortly.
Yes, or there's been a few too many risky people out there, and they've gone and tripped over the track limits.
Right.
So therefore their times have been deleted. So it's going to be a bit of a shuffle of the order. But at the moment we've got Sabo in the pole position, followed by James Anderson, Taylor Cockerton, Sam Dunstall, Gene Rollinson, Dan Patrick in the 6th position, followed by Matthew Griffin, Casey Sturrock, and Mike Cullingford, who's still out on track at the moment. And here we are on board with him on cue.
And he's disappeared.
There we go. That's because
qualifying's over. So that is that is that. Let's go and take a look, shall we? See what we have. That is definitely not the start. There is the start. So Sabo is going to qualify on pole with James Anderson, Taylor Cockerton, Dunstall, Rollinson, Patrick Griffin, Sturrock, Cullingford, and Andrew Waite getting himself into the top 10 there, Andrew.
Yes, that's a good effort, but there's nothing separating them right at the pointy end as they line up, and this will be a rolling start. So we've actually gone a little bit round the track. The benefit of iRacing is that we can form the cars up just ahead of the start-finish line.
Yeah, that'll be neat.
This will be a rolling start, and turn 1, La Source, could be La Position for the action. So we get a good look through the field here. So we're not all blue and black. There's a few bright, shiny liveries. So we'll just wait for everyone to grid up at the moment. And we'll be underway very, very shortly. So this race over 8 laps. There is a little bit of a time limit on it, so let's hope there isn't any incidents. And we will get through this one okay. So he's just finding the ideal spot. We see the spectators here. Just waiting for the safety car to roll off shortly, and Sabo and James Anderson on the front row will lead us off.
It's going to be quite a lot of fun. And the thing to realise, of course, is it's virtually impossible to follow every single thing that goes on around this 6.1 kilometre circuit. So we will miss some incidents. We'll miss quite a few off tracks and quite a few crashes, but we'll do our best to keep up with it. Now, you've sort of done some rough calculations on how many laps you think they'll get in this time certain race, Andrew. What did your calculator tell you?
Well, it is scheduled for 8 laps, so if there are no incidents and safety cars deployed, we'll go close to getting the full 8 laps in. But we'll see how that plays out and see what the pace is going to be. So I don't doubt that we're going to have action, and let's just see if the full field can get through turn 1.
Yeah, well, it's not a lot of time to warm up their tyres, really. They don't have a lot of chance here because they're basically coming into turn number 18 now. So they'll come into the bus stop, turns 19 and 20. I've got my calculations right here. Yes, I have. And that'll be it. They'll be onto the start line. I can't imagine that safety car is going to do a full lap with them there. It would have started a different part of the circuit. So
no. So if we jump down to the chopper camera, we'll get a little bit of a closer angle. But as they go through onto the front straight,
Here we go. The safety
Green
car
flag, green flag.
has peeled off, and we do have a green flag. We are racing now with Sabo leading the way over Anderson, Cockett, Dunstall, Rollinson, Patrick. David Lawrence has had an absolute shocker in his dropping position, so he must have crashed out at the very beginning, or he's lost his connection. But Sabo gets through cleanly along with everyone else. They're all doing a pretty good job so far. We watch him through Eau Rouge. Here we go, up and over on cold tyres, staying within those track limits. And that is the difficulty right now. Anderson in close, a little bit going on in behind. We'll try and follow that, shall we? Because Rollinson and Cockett are going side by side up Kimmel into the first right-hander. And now we're going to go 4 wide, Andrew.
Quick lock up and contact there. The two OMP cars have made contact, and Rollinson's been able to get through.
And that's
he's currently now under pressure from Cullingford.
Yep, and that's a team incident right there. So that's not going to go down very well at all. We are now following Cullingford, who's tried to duck down the inside, and he really had to brake hard because the chances of touching the rear of Rollinson's car was fairly high. This is a really good fight at the moment. There's quite a few going on. I just want to stay with these guys for a few more turns. Down the hill. Here we go. Cullingford's quite confident, isn't he?
He is very aggressive. He was going to throw it down the inside there, but on cold tyres you can see he's ended up washing wide, losing a lot of track position, so that's allowed Gene to get back out onto the traditional racing line. So up ahead of Rollinson we've got Waite, Griffin and Patrick in a little battle pack, and here we go. Waite's run wide. Rollinson's trying to capitalise. The jump on board's down the inside. Oh, he's made contact.
Oh,
and
no.
he's bent him.
Oh dear. So what is race control going to say about that? Because that was a racing incident. Oh dear. I don't know what the rules are.
Gene lining up. You can see Gene lining up the inside line, and Wadey just hung there a little bit more than what Gene was expecting. So contact was made. You can see the front splitter there on Gene's car is a little bit dislodged, but Andrew Waite now is having to regather and is dropping down the order.
Speaking of dropping down, look at this crazy
car's running wide.
Yeah, here we go. So Cullingford's really slowed up. He's dropped down a couple of spots, and that's allowed Walton, Gilchrist, Duinty, Patterson, Kirk. They're all there and all fighting for positions. This is great stuff on race and lap number 1.
Well, there's a bit of a bust-up going on in the chicane in the background, but no, I think Cullingford was maybe caught out a little bit there with the Andrew Waite spin, and he had to take evasive action, and it cost him a bit of track position. But now as they head down the hill into En Rouge for the second lap.
Yeah, let's go on board with Gilchrist, shall we? They're coming up onto Kimmel. Wow, talk about using
all of the track. He's going to stay on the inside.
Well, you'd have to stay there. Surely he's got to stay there. Even if he does not quite get the drag, he's got the line. He only needs one more extra metre of brake. There it is. Can he pull it up in time? Yes, he does. Brilliantly done. He's around. And I love his mags. Those are outstanding.
Yes, no, that was a great pass there, and we could see just ahead Cullingford just having a little bit of trouble pulling it up. But let's see now, as this pack is certainly taking it to each other. This is a great little battle.
Yeah, they're using every part of the track, and the problem is, like any race course, if you go onto the ripple strips and put your foot down too early, you've got a major chance of getting it all wrong. It's big risk versus reward, I guess, when you've only got 8 laps. It is a sprint around here, and it's famously known for being more of an endurance circuit.
Well, you say a sprint, but 8 laps around here, and it's 6 kilometres around. It is going to be quite a
it's a
long race.
Yep, it's still a haul, even though they're considering it a sprint. She's not a 1-hour race, but okay, he's using every single bit of the ripple strip. Let's go further back, because I think there's a bit of action with Kirk. Now there's a bit of cool livery, isn't it? The Kiwi Sim Racing team got the flag, flying the flag for New Zealand at Spa. That's what we like, and there's been plenty of Kiwis who've actually done that. They've achieved a lot at Spa.
Well, they certainly have. You go back to Bruce McLaren, it was the venue of his very first maiden Formula 1 victory. So there you go, there's a little bit of trivia for you.
Okay, Andrew Waite is fighting with Nicholas Lowndes. We need to go back and watch those guys. As I speak about it, he just gets shunted. He came into the left-hander at the bus stop. he didn't quite get it turned in, and that's twice he's been sent into the wall, and I hope he's laughing about it because he is a guest driver and there's no point getting wound up. But he has been absolutely smashed around in these first 2 laps here at Spa. Epic stuff.
Yeah,
I almost feel for
driver. I'm sure if we had a face cam on him, he'd be laughing. A lot of these guys can see the funny side of these battles as we jump on board with Aidan Lamont, trying to get a slipstream up the Kemmel Straight. Lowndes the inside there to the right.
Yeah, and Lowndes has got the run, really. He can just be quite gentle on the brakes. There's no way Lamont was going to go around the outside. It would have sent him off track. So, but the main thing is he's let him know he's there. So Lowndes knows if he makes a mistake, Lamont is going to grab him.
Certainly filling his mirrors and at the moment, that beautiful looking MTF Finance BMW. Some very striking customised liveries. We've got the flashes going.
Oh, that's confidence.
Lowndes is telling Sturrock, Casey Sturrock, I'm coming. So Sturrock, Gene Rollinson's teammate. Having the Racer Products looking liveries.
Yes, and he had an incident, didn't he? He caught up with his teammate on the turn number 2 of the race, so it wasn't that smart. It dropped them all the way back down here into this fight that we're watching at the moment for 17, 18 and 19. We need to go up front and check out Sabo, who is kind of on his own and kind of not, because he's got James Anderson in close. Now, if we have a look and we just wait and look at the timing board here, it shows, what, 3 seconds? Yeah, I think Anderson can catch him if he tries hard enough.
Currently we've got Brendan Brownie there in the black car in between.
Lap down.
First and second, so just gone a lap down. So whether he has taken the opportunity to do his pit stop yet, and that's shuffled Brendan Brownie further down the order as we see Sabo here starting another lap. Lap 4. Heading off down the Kemmel Straight one more time. We can see James Anderson getting around Brendan Brownie. So a nice clean move done there.
Yeah, and he had to. He had to get around him if he wanted to chase down Sabo, but the chances of Sabo making a mistake are pretty slim while he's out on his own. The only way to do it is be right on the tailpipe, isn't it? And force that mistake by just changing it up, going left, going right, making him think a little bit. But at the moment, he's got such clean air, he can just focus on his own gig.
Yeah, certainly getting some clean track and making the most of it here. As we see behind Brendan Brownie is just got Dunstall working all over him at the moment. He's possibly lost a little bit of ground on Anderson, so Brendan now pulls to the left, and we see the flashes coming on as Cockerdon is trying to get around.
And that is a risky way to do it around the outside there, because that's where all the marbles are, but he's managed to hook it in.
Breath.
Yeah, yes, you end up going wider and wider off the circuit, and hopefully you don't spin it before bringing it back in. That is Sam Dunstall currently sitting in 3rd position. So it is Sabo, Anderson, Dunstall, Cockerdon. Gene Rollinson has managed to move himself into 5th again after losing and then gaining. So that's where he started the race. He'll sit there. Dunstall is the one who's made the move on Cockerdon to gain that spot. Matthew Griffin has gained a position up to number 6. Dan Patrick has lost it to go down to 7. Cullingford has moved up to 8. Cole Scott into 9, and Brock Gilchrist is into 10. So that is the race at the moment, and we'll go find Gilchrist. There he is. And that is that lime? It's not lime, is it? It's, I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
it's
I'll
neat.
give you lime.
It's
but,
cool.
The wheels are certainly pink. I can give you that hot tip.
It's pretty awesome. And I want to just check out what's happening further down in the field. So let's rip right down to position number 20. A nice round number. And that is Patterson, car number 19, in position number 20. And it's a simple little race with himself and Bickley. Goebel in behind. Nothing too dramatic going on. They're just doing their circulation and staying as clean as possible.
That time round, Patterson a 2-minute 20. So just to give a bit of a comparison, the leaders up the front, they're circulating in the 2:17s. So about 3 seconds off the pace of the leaders at this stage. As we go a little bit further back down the field,
Yeah, we're
Douglas
right
quickly.
back into 25th spot at the moment. And again, there's no real battle packs as such. Everyone seems to have split themselves off quite nicely. One of the closest ones, just trying to see where they are on the circuit, is actually way up the front. We've got a battle still continuing between Cockerton in 4th and Dunstall in 3rd. This is the podium fight. We are in lap 5 of 8. We have 25 minutes to complete it. We are into 10 minutes 32. We've had no yellows, no safety cars. So that means we are doing well on time. And these two, it's not like a Formula One with massive aero and slipstreams. This is slightly different. These things are bricks. It's a different tactic, isn't it?
Well, they're a little bit more purposeful than some of the cars the teams have been driving during the iRacing seasons. But also, just reflecting there on the format of this race, so I may have incorrectly said about pit stops with some of the lap traffic, but this race there is no compulsory pit stop.
Right.
So
okay.
it is
next one, isn't it?
8 laps. It's the feature race later on.
Right.
As we see here, Dunstall's getting put under enormous pressure as they head into the chicane. Cockerton's really putting the heat on him.
And that's a good thing too. And that's all he's got to do. He's just got to stay on his bumper. Don't let him slip away. No mistakes. Just move left a little bit. Move right a little bit. And force Dunstall to continually look in his rear vision mirror and actually upset his own race. But you've mentioned it in previous races, Andrew, that as well as looking after yourself, you don't want to give your tactics away. So you can't keep doing the same thing every lap. Otherwise, Cockerton will work him out and know exactly where he can get him.
It's all about countering somebody's moves, and if you can be read like a textbook, you'll get picked off. But also, you can see these two just starting to hold each other up maybe a little bit, as Cockerton now has the slipstream, but Dunstall saw him coming and he's gone extremely defensive.
It's a good idea going down the inside there, because you
deep enough around the outside.
Yeah,
you're going an overlap.
You're always going to win there under brakes. There's no way, and Cockerton knew it. He backed out.
But I was alluding to the fact that these two have started to battle each other so hard. You can see James Anderson has started to skip away. That gap up to the second position has now just been able to stretch out a bit more. So the pressure's come off James Anderson as Sam Dunstall is setting about keeping Cockerton behind him.
Yeah, and Sabo up front is another nearly 8 seconds ahead of Dunstall here. So those two front runners, first and second, Sabo, Anderson, don't really have to do too much other than circulate at this point in time. The battle is this one. This is intriguing, and as I said, it's for a podium, and that's important because the championship is only going to be halfway through exactly. We've just finished halfway, so we're now into the start of the second part of the season in this race. So points are still important. And as I said earlier in the evening, Gene Rollinson leads it with 127. Dunstall, that we're following here, is second on the points table. So this is really good for him for his points, but he can't afford to do anything silly and lose his championship title fight. I know there's honour.
So
yeah, that's right. There's honour in getting third, but like you say, how aggressive, eh?
Yeah, how aggressive does he want to be here and put everything at risk when Cockerton certainly seems to have the pace, and he's getting a little bit frustrated there. You can see James is skipping away up ahead. James Anderson in the Western ITM BMW, just now front of shot. So we jump on board with Cockerton. First gear corner. Now the long run downhill.
And he tried to get a really good run out of turn one. It didn't work. He actually lost traction. And look at the gap that's already created. So now he's got to concentrate on making that back up, either with a good flow through Eau Rouge or under brakes. And he did very well there, because he is starting to catch again. So he's got some momentum. And there goes Dunstall again. Same thing.
On the inside. Oh, we're going to see a big lunge here. He was thinking about it. You can see the benefit there. He was just close enough to be in the draft. As Dunstall's got a little bit wide, but Cockerton's just not close enough to benefit.
Yeah, it looks like Dunstall's actually trying to drive defensively now, and it's affecting his drive lines.
He's certainly using up a lot of the tyre, and as we talked about before, the modelling in iRacing does have some pretty severe tyre degradation, so the cars certainly will be starting to move around a bit at this point in the race, as we're on lap 7 of the scheduled 8-lap distance.
All right, we'll come back to these guys in a second. We'll just pop further back down the field and see what's happening, if there's anything exciting happen. Let's go to Jeremy Patterson. He's out all on his own, back in position number 19 with Goebel and Andrew Waite still in the hunt for now a top 20. A top 20. He was, what was he, third row of the grid, and now he's fighting for 20th. He's back there. Have a look at that.
He's hunting for a recovery, I can tell you that much.
Well, as I said earlier, as long as he's laughing about it and just shrugging his shoulders and going, oh, well, whatever, then that's fine.
Yeah, look, I mean, you can see he's driving competitively, so he's got the bit between his teeth and showing the skill that he has perfected over years and years of driving.
Yep, certainly has.
Driven at many formulas.
Yep. And our favourite Fanta, now Jack Coford. There he is. Our favourite Fanta boy is back in position 24th. He has lost 11 spots tonight. So he'll get a good razzing on social media tonight and tomorrow about his driving attitude and his driving ability, and he'll love every second of it. He fights back. Yep, he fights back when the banter comes out, so it's great.
Yeah, his good friend Andre Heimgartner will be watching on the two when they're racing this car together. They're typically known as Team Fanta, so both in the distinctive orange liveries. And for those of you who don't know, Fanta's actually a pilot. He actually has his pilot's license. Many Instagram update of him flying up and down the Gold Coast when he's not in New Zealand. That's
scary, isn't it? It's a scary thought. We are on lap 8 of 8. Let's jump right up the front, shall we? Here is your leader at the moment. His best lap time of a 2:16.144. It's a blistering pace. That is basically half a second faster than anyone else on the track. And look at him go. It is so smooth. We'll go on board with him as he comes in. Down Puon. Into turn number 13. Campus 14. Taking it wide, switches himself across, and then ducks heavy on the brakes in third. Right back into second as he goes through 15 Stavelot into 16. And then the power goes down. There's no backing off the throttle here. Redlining it all the way. 5th gear. He's getting closer to the checkered flag. He can see some lapped competitors in front of him. Doesn't have to worry about them. 6th gear, full throttle. Has it under control. Comes into bus stop. Turns number 19 and 20. Here he comes. Antal Rafael Sabo. He is absolutely flying. It is basically
back down the order, and there's been a bit of an incident there with Cockenden and Dunstall coming up on James Anderson.
Oh, Anderson's lucky to still be driving. Look at his car.
So I could hear that coming from a room over yonder.
Oh dear. Yes. As they file through. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
So we'll run down the order for you. Sabo, Dunstall, Cockenden, Anderson able to get across the line in 4th. Rollinson recovering to 5th. And we have Cunningford in the 6th position. Griffin. You see the field filtering through here.
Some nice passes going on further back. Here we go, a three-way, and they're still shunting each other off for glory. Get out of my way, son. I've got a checkered flag to take. Yeah.
Oh, we've got
hang on. Oh, look at this.
Centered.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. Nicely done. That'll be a repair bill and a half. As the rest of them come on through. There is Jack Coford. He's got his foot to the floor, has he? Oh, I thought no, he's just going to barrier it, right? Nicely done. So, Andrew Waite's finally made it across the line. Joshua Andrew, here comes one of our last competitors. Just taking his time. Going around. We're still on turns number 15. Still down in Campus and Stavelot. Yeah, pretty
So
slick.
the final 3 cars coming to the line, following Joshua Andrews. So Josh Andrew from Rush Simulators.
Yeah, he's lost 16 spots, so either put himself out or someone put him out. But it wasn't exactly the finish he needed.
And across the line to take the 27th and final position.
Yes, indeed. So shall we, take a wee look at our results board. And Sabo we can confirm, did win the race. We know that. Dunstall and Cockerton were fighting for 3rd and 4th place, with Anderson meant to be taking 2nd, but there was an incident we missed and they all came together. So a few words might be said. So that is Anderson ending up in 4th, ahead of Rollinson, who is leading the points table and probably still is at the moment. Kellingford, Griffin, Scott Patrick, and Ngatoa Caleb out there. Walton Lowndes, Giuntini, Kirk, Gilchrist, Lamont, Sturrock, and Patterson. And you can see the rest of them there as we file through. Bickley, Coфord up to 22nd. Andrew Waite down to 23rd. He couldn't even make the top 20. We'll give him a razzing about that later. He'll blame everybody else except himself. So, have you worked out race 2, Andrew? We know we've got a compulsory pit stop for fuel. Is there anything else you've managed to find out from race control?
So yeah, the final lap, the final race is actually an inverted grid from what I can see here on the information that we've been given.
Nice.
So a 12-lap race with 1 compulsory pit stop. It'll be interesting, the strategies that play out. Who's going to pit early or who's going to go long? All about getting that valuable track position.
Okay. All right. We'll take a little breather then, shall we? We'll take our sip of water while we wait for these guys to get themselves sorted for race number 2. We won't be too far away, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, as we get ourselves set for race number 2 in the evening. And it is going to be a reverse grid of everybody. I am talking everybody. So those who finished at the back are now going to start up the front. And Andrew, that has different consequences, doesn't it? It's either going to be complete and utter carnage, or we just get to watch the back ones who are clearly faster filter their way through. But I'm picking carnage.
I'm picking carnage too. Turn 1 is going to be just a concertina, and I think we're going to have a bit of action in this. So let's hope that the guys at the back just bide their time, and we'll get a lot of racing in here and getting some good clean passes.
Yeah, well, we're high above them at the moment because it is a rolling start, and already the likes of Jack Cofford is like asleep at the wheel, and he got left behind us as the safety car took off. I don't know what he was thinking. Yeah, there he is. Oh, he's caught up to them again. That's nice. Well done. So Cam Kens and Brendan Brownie will lead the way. They are going to take the official grid position for this race, road number 1. It's going to be absolutely hectic. And we've already had it.
Green flag, green
there
flag.
we go, green flag, and we've had a turnaround at the start of it. And just stay with this and look what's happening. Everyone's going to come around the corner. James Anderson dodges out of the way, and so too do the back markers. And here is the field. It is completely insane. Look at them coming into turn number 1. And who is going to get spun around? That's the big question. Up front.
This front splitters already, so there's been contact up and down the field, and we can see the back of Matthew's car there with a bit of a rearrangement.
Yep, and Sturrock's car, he's had the front ripped off it up the very front. They're doing pretty well, so that's not a problem. Further back in the field, check them all out going up Kimmel for the very first time. This is complete insanity. Here comes the fast cars in this sort of picture that we're showing here. James Anderson moving himself up 10 spots into 22nd. Sabo has got himself from 35th up to 27.
Turned around, but he's been able to regather as we see a Red Bull going backwards down the track.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who it is. Is that Griffin? It is too. It's Matthew Griffin. He got spun around. Oh dear, he'd done so well. Kieran Rollinson has dropped down 10 spots. So what's happened to Kieran? We're on board with him now. Well, when I say on board, we're watching him. Nothing seems to be damaged. I'd say he just got caught up in the melee. Oh boy, oh boy.
Try and get the lap tower back up for you shortly as we see James Anderson trying to get a run down through Puon into campus around the outside. So this battle back here certainly starting to heat up. James tucked in the Western ITM car, tucked right underneath the boot wing of the car ahead. We'll just see what that order is.
13 spots down. Okay, so let's go to James Anderson, shall we, who is now sitting in 22nd position. He has gained 10 spots, so that's really good for his championship title chase. He's coming into this tonight in 4th position overall on 109, which is 3 points behind Griffin, who has been knocked back already in the Red Bull machine as he gets spun around. Let's see who's doing what. Some of the going already in for their pit stops, Andrew.
Yeah, there's a few taking the strategic move here, getting out of all the traffic and trying to get their pit stop out the way. So let's see how that pans out down the race. So
front runners have not come in. That's the interesting point.
Down the outside. So Cochrane's been able to get around the outside of Anderson as they head off down the hill.
And he's got a little bit of a gap between him, which is nice. It means he doesn't have to worry about making a mistake through Eau Rouge. Might have lost a little bit of track position there, and he's been told to slow down, has he? Yes.
Yes, he's been given a slowdown by iRacing, so
yep.
He's cut the corner way too much.
Yep, he got all 4 wheels over the ripple strip, so that's cost him probably 5 or 6 positions. Yep, definitely, and he'd already made up 13 spots, so that's a little bit grim. If we want to... Oh, now who has cut the track there that I just saw go straight through, and other cars going off? Oh, it was 15. Right, it was Caleb Ngatoa. He went straight through, so he'll be given a penalty as well by iRacing Control and told to slow down and yield the time back that he gained. Although, if he went off and went slow, he probably yielded it straight away, which is a good system.
I think it was a self-regulating situation, but he's back onto the lights to say he means business.
Yep, he's back into it. Let's move all the way up to 11th position, shall we? And check out Andrew Waite, who is all by his lonesome. There's no one around him.
He's the only one on track, I think, that's been able to find a gap to the cars ahead and in behind as he runs wide, exiting.
Oh dear.
Coming through 15 into Savot.
Okay, and let's go further up the field,
16.
shall we? Into position number 4 is Jack Coford, who's trying to chase down Benjamin Goebel in third. This is going to be a lot of fun. Down the inside.
Oh, down the inside. Is Fanta going to get the move done? He's going to stick it on the inside. Goebel's had to run wide.
Great pressure.
So down into the chicane to turn 19 and 20. Oh, Coford's down the inside and he's been forced the opposition to go into the pits.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of like he wasn't sure what he wanted to do and he'd lost the spot, so bugger it, I'll go into pit. Okay.
It stays right, and certainly did. So it's probably a good strategic move there to take the opportunity. So we've got a battle of the soft drinks here. We've got Fanta running down the hill, a couple of spots behind. We've got the Coca-Cola livery featuring tonight. So it's a battle of the soft drinks.
Lap 3 of 12. Let's go all the way back to position 18 with Matthew Griffin all out on his own. He got spun around on that first lap, so now he's just got to consolidate. That's all he can do for his championship title. He was third coming into the points tonight, just in behind Dunstall and Rollinson. And if we try and find where Rollinson is in the field, Gene Rollinson is right in behind him, actually. So we'll flick back and find Gene. There he is. He's going through Eau Rouge now. He is back in position 18.
I think Gene was one of the ones that opted to take themselves out of the traffic and go through the pit lane. So I think the bulk of these cars here in this pack are probably around the front runners of those who have affected their pit stop.
Okay, we'll be able to check on the pit stops. We'll bring that data up so we can see who's done what. There we go. Rollinson has done his one stop. So has Cullingford. So that was probably a good idea. Patterson, Sturrock, Sabo has. Dunstall, Goebel. So it's the top 17 who have not done a pit stop yet.
Now, these cars at the moment, they're about a third of a lap down on the leaders, so that gives us an idea of the track position that they've yielded whilst they've done their pit lane drive through, or pit lane tour if you like, for the pit stop, sorry. So it's going to be interesting to see where the field regroups after the pit stop cycles.
All right, well, that's Cullingford there back in 20th position. He's made up 10 spots. Let's go all the way to the front, shall we? We're seeing what's going on back here. Right up the front of the track, leading the race at the moment is Revis, who has not yet done his pit, but he's got great time. He's done a 2:17.7.
Yeah, that's a pretty good, respectable time. And the benefit of clear track with no one around him, he's just been able to knuckle down and put down some nice clean laps, take the advantage of the clear track. And yes, it's going to pay dividends later on when he has to come in for his pit stop. He hasn't been held up at the moment and isn't having to go defensive. We can see behind him there Josh Andrews
and Jack Coford, and they're out on their own. There's no one with them, but further back is where a little race is happening. This is for position 5 and 6. That was a quick and easy streamline gain, no problem. But does this mean that Cockerton can catch up now and take some position? He's further back, not far back behind Guantini, sorry. Just further. Now that is also Scott is involved in this battle. This is for 8, 9 and 10. What we are watching here, and that is Cockerton, Scott, Ngatoa.
So again, this battle for 6th, these drivers have yet to do their pit stop.
And it's only lap 4 of 12, so they've still got plenty of time. Cockerdin's starting to just go away on his own, which means Cole Scott and Caleb Natoa are the ones who are having their own little fight. See how Natoa goes here, shall we? We'll just go on board with him for a few turns. See what his tactics are.
So here we are exiting turn 16. Cabure, Port de Fer. No, I gave it a go, Sooty. These corners, they've got me. Blanchemont and through turn 17. He's got the overlap.
Great run.
Carries that all the way. Runs wide, so certainly forcing the pass to be completed.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic.
Heavily under brakes through the final chicane. So that's now moved him up into the 11th position on track. And that lap there at 2:17.7, so it was a good time.
So the top 13, in fact it's the top 10 now who have not pitted yet. 11, 12 and 13 have. They are in their pits, but it's positions 1 to 10.
We can see a few in the pit lane at the moment. Lamont and Anderson are in the lane. So we'll see some of these cars cycle through. They're on pit exit now, so it's a fairly short pit lane. We're using the traditional Formula 1 pits as opposed to the classic pit lane down the hill into En Rouge as we're watching Taylor Cockerdin again. Gotta love that monster livery.
It's wild, isn't it? It's actually neat. It's a brilliant job. It's really well done.
Blockish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all about me kind of look.
It's got the monster, it's got the DC shoes. So one hopes he's using his DC shoe racing boots in the simulator as opposed to socks like the Scott McLaughlin trait.
Well, if you don't know which one of the 40 sponsors you want on your car, you just put them all on.
This is true.
Okay, let's go further down, shall we? We'll go back to 14th position with Sabo, who, well, obviously cleaned up in the last race, and he's chasing down Sturrock right now. And that is for positions 13 and 14. Now, Sabo really doesn't have to do anything silly here. He's gaining a huge amount of points starting in 35th. He's done his pit stop. He's moved up 3 places ahead, sorry, is his closest opposition in regards to pace, not in the championship. You see, Sabo is back in 7th in points in the championship table. So he does need to be moderately aggressive to gain as many points as he can against the likes of Sturrock, who is ahead of him, both on the track and the points table, Cullingford, Anderson, Griffin, and Dunstall, and Rollinson. So a handful of his competition are in behind him, but he's got some major ones in front of him, and he's looking for championship points, and he's going to try here. Andrew are doing a really good job.
Through this high-speed turn through Blanchemont, been able to make a very clean pass. Just kicks up a bit of dirt on the inside. But that's okay, as he's deep under brakes here. So now he's taking over. Oh, just as we say that, we saw Sturrock having a go under brakes.
Yeah, but he thought about it. Yeah, thought about it and realised if he had have taken his foot off the brakes there, he would have smacked into him, and that's not the right way to do things. So it's very nice, clean driving, really, because he did have a better bit of pace going into that turn as they go through turn number 1. Way down in the field, if we go further back, like way down, we've got the likes of... Oh, everyone's in the pits at the moment, so we can't find them. But let's go down to position number 20, shall we? Hang on. We're all over the place. There we go. Position number 20, Jeremy Patterson. He has lost 3 spots. But he'll do all right. We'll check now with Andrew Waite, who lost 4 positions from his grid up, which was a reverse grid.
So Andrew, again, he's one of the competitors that has completed his pit stop already. He's in a bit of a battle pack here with Bickley. So Bickley, Lamont following closely there in the MTF Finance BMW. So Andrew running a little bit wide there. would have probably liked to have been on the apex a bit more. He's made it difficult for himself through this combination. It's allowed Bickley just to close up underneath, and he continues to kick a bit of dirt up, so he's using all of the track. Run through here through Puon. Just manages to put a car length behind, or put a car length in between him and Bickley.
Yeah, in fact, all three of them now have managed to create a gap between themselves, which means that fight is almost over. And another 5 positions back, there's Matthew Griffin, who was, and what I say was, 3rd on the championship points table. I think the
yellow flag is out.
Okay, we've just heard the yellow flag is coming out onto the track. Now we'll try and find what for. I can see that a lot of different vehicles have entered the pits, but I haven't seen any incidents listed on my timing screen.
This will be very interesting, because typically with iRacing, the pit lane will be closed. So the field will be grouping up. So at the moment we have Chris Rivas, Joshua Andrew, Taylor Cockerton, Aidan Kirk and Nabo yet to perform their pit stops. So I've got to think that these guys are be the big losers in this pit lane sequence.
Yep, very much so.
The first of the pit stoppers is actually going to be Gene Rollinson, with our good mate Jack Coford right behind. So it'll be a single file restart once the field groups up.
That's Jack Coford right there in 7th position, and Rollinson is in front of him. There's Rollinson up there. So yes, as Andrew just said, these guys are the first of your one stoppers. They are the ones who have gone into pit lane already and taken on their fuel. So tactically it's worked out brilliant for them. However, at the same time, given there are 5 laps remaining, it means that the likes of Sturrock, Sabo, Dunstan, James Anderson, Waite, Lamont, all of these drivers, Cullingford, they're all going to close up now. So we're back in with a race.
Then they're going to be a sprint to the finish. Be a single file restart when we go green again. So at the moment the field's trying to find where the safety car is. So given it's a long 6.9 kilometres, we'll be coming around this time round to catch the safety car as we look back from Gene's vantage spot.
That chopper pilot's pretty good, isn't he?
He's getting pretty low.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. Well, it's probably a drone these days. Yeah, it's a drone these days. Yeah, right.
GPS positioning himself off the front bumper.
Okay, so that's Gene Rollinson. So let me run through this for you. Rollinson is currently going to lead the pack away after the safety car. Then it will be Coford, Patrick, Sturrock, Sabo has got all the way up into 10th spot from 35th. Dunstall, Walton, Driver, Patterson, Scott, James Anderson, Andrew Waite, Bickley, Lamont, and Patterson will make up your top 20. And those top 5 cars, well, they're going to be in a world of hurt because the yellow is out. And I think you're right, Andrew. I think they have closed pit lane. So try and find them, shall we? Where are they at the moment? There they are behind the safety car, and they're not happy about it.
There's a bit of chatter going on the race channel. I'm listening in on another frequency. So there's a bit of discussion going on as to this, but I mean the benefit of iRacing is you can throw some strategic moves, and it's all about putting on entertainment at the end of the day. So the safety car currently just going through at the end of the Kimmel Straight through the
Lecombe.
So next time round the pit lane I would pick will be open.
Won't be too long before we see there's Natoa back there. So Gene Rollinson, there we go. He's caught up with them. On our blimp cam, we can see they are all there. So he will lead once the safety car disappears, because we are in lap 8 of 12, and those top 5 drivers will have to pull in at some stage. There's just no point in hanging around, is there? I mean, tactically, if you were in real time, Andrew, what would you do? Just say, well, I've got to pit in, I might as well pit now.
Yeah, well, the iRacing pit modelling is based on IndyCar and NASCAR. So unlike what we see in supercars, when the safety car comes out, they actually close pit lanes. So drivers that do tour through the pit lane will be given a drive-through penalty. That's why they haven't come in. Normally we would see drivers just head for the pit lane before they get behind the safety car, but in iRacing that's not how the modelling works out. Those who have already effected their pit stop have gained a little bit of track advantage here on those top 5 runners that will still have to serve their pit lane a stop.
Okay, well, the safety car at the moment is going through Stavelot, turns 15 and 16. It'll head up Corpus Frere and then into Blanchimont, turn 17. How's that? Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? And then turn 18, and we'll see if the safety car peels off. My guess is it's very likely that it will. And then those top 5 cars have a big decision to make. Do they run for 3 laps and then pit on the last one? Do they pit as early as possible? They know their race is over, so they've just got to decide how much punishment they are going to take. Really, I guess that's the question they're going to have to ask themselves. How much do we want to lose? If they go in now, they'll lose a lot more, wouldn't they? Because everyone's closed up.
Yep, we're just trying to listen on Race Channel here to see whether the pit lane is going to open this time round. But the cars that do pit now, they will be cycling to the back of the field. That's for certain.
That's a guarantee. So I'd almost go 2 more laps in the race conditions. The safety car, is it peeling off? Here they come.
The pit lane.
Well,
pit lane is open.
I would have waited because there could have been some carnage and you might have been able to gain some spots, but there's going to be none now. I'm not sure if they've done the right tactic, but that's their choice, and that means that Gene Rollinson will lead us away, but the safety car is still out.
Yes, they're still under the safety car, so it will go green next time round. So it's if you like, the cars that haven't pitted, they've been able to minimise their losses by coming into the pit lane, and if we cycle back, we will see them rejoining at the back of the field. So they'll have a 2 or maybe 3 lap sprint to the finish to try and make up as many spots as possible. So again, the beauty of iRacing is that all of these formulas and race strategies can be thrown in the air. We can try a few different things, and it's good that this series is having a go at just trying to change up the racing formats a little.
Yeah, I guess, and I don't want to tell them they've done the wrong thing, but just my brain says, why not stay out there and go through to maybe, I don't know, lap number 11 before you pit and hope that half of that field has a crash on the restart or doing something stupid, and then you might be able to slot back in the middle of the field rather than guaranteed now you're at the back.
Well, this is true, so we'll see how it plays out. The commentator's curse has been set by Footy.
There we go, everyone's going to wipe out, and the last 5 drivers are going to come through and win.
Exactly, there's going to be mass carnage at turn 1. So we'll take the green this time round. So we're currently on the lap 9, so it'll be a 3 lap sprint to the finish.
Let's go back through the field, shall we? I can tell you that it is going to be Rollinson, Kofod, Patrick, Sturrock, Sabo to make up your top 5. Then it'll be Dunstall, Walton, Driver, Patterson and Scott will be in position 10, with James Anderson 11, Andrew Waite 12. Now, just a note that Scott has made 18 positions, Anderson 21 positions. And in fact, if you really want to go at it, right up the front, Rollinson has made up 30, Kofod 12, Patrick 24, Sturrock 15 spots, Sabo has made 30, Dunstall has made up 28, Walton 18, Driver's made 8, Patterson has moved up 9, Scott has moved up 18 positions to be in 10th. James Anderson started 32nd, is now 11th, moving up 21 spots. Andrew Waite has only gained 1 position from 13 to 12. Bickley is up 2 into 13. Lamont is up 6 into 14. Patterson up 2 into 15. Now, Cam Cairns has lost 10 spots. Cullingford in 17th has gained 13. Matthew Griffin has managed to get back 11 spots after being spun out in that opening lap. And then from there down, it just is a lot of drivers losing a lot of positions as expected. So, you know, that's the way it is. They're going through turn 16 now. Corbet, Paul Frere, and then they will head into turn 17. Blanchimont, 18, the chicane and the bus stop. Turns 19 and 20, which should be when we see the safety car peel away. Everyone will be out now. Everyone has done their pit stops. Yes, they have. Cullington's had to do 2. That'll be for repairs. There'll be a few others down the field like that as well. But basically, our front runners are there. So we can see they are getting set. They are still keeping their tyres warm because this is the model that Andrew has explained to us before about iRacing, where it is realistic and their tyres will go cold. They'll lose their stick if they just decide to loop around and do nothing with them. You've got to keep the tyre temperature to where you want it for this restart. iRacing is that good. Safety car, the lights should be out after this turn. It should peel away. We wait for it to get out of there. Still under yellow, Andrew.
Yes, it's
Where's he going to peel off? The lights are out. Maybe it's going to peel off here. That'll be a weird spot to do it. We cautiously wait for the iRacing Mustang to get the heck off the racetrack.
No, it looks like he's got a lot of fuel, so
But his lights aren't on.
Here as to why the lights.
Yeah. We're used to this though, even in the real world we see this happening all the time and no one knows what's going on. None of the drivers are switching positions, so it's not as though it's due to drivers being out of position. Way down in the field, no one's doing anything silly. It's the very last of the cars coming through there. Back up the front of the field. And the weaving is going on, so the drivers will actually be having quite a conversation right now as they've lost 2 laps under yellow, which means it will be a genuine sprint. And that's going to lend itself to more chaos. So it's even more important now for these guys to keep their tyres warm and their brains on focus, because it's only going to take a tiny mistake to end up in the wall or the kitty litter. Let's run through the championship points again. Gene Rollinson came into tonight's round on 127 points. Dunstall 119. Griffin 112. James Anderson 109. Cullingford 108. Sturrock 103. Sabo 100. Patrick 96, Kirk 94, and Revis 93. Now Gene Rollinson, of course, is up front right now. Dunstall is back in position number 6. Our third member of the championship, Griffin, is way down in position number 18, so that's not good for his championship. James Anderson, 4th in the championship. Will restart this race in position number 11. Cullingford, 5th in the championship. Will start back in 17th. He's had to pit twice, 1 for repairs. Sturrock, 6th in the championship, will restart here in 4th. A fantastic place for him to be on his championship run. Sabo, as we've spoken about, sitting on a clean 100 points and 7th on the table in the championship. He will restart the race from 5th. So he is really in the box seat here to try and claw back some valuable points against the likes of Rollinson, Dunstall and Griffin. So that's where we're at in regards to the championship. This is round 4 of 6. There are 2 races per round, which means, in simple math, We have 4 races after this left in the season. We are currently under yellow flag. It is the second lap of the yellow of our 12-lap feature, which was a reverse grid from the results of race 1. Those who were the fastest started at the back, and they've ended up being at the front of the field yet again. So the cream has risen to the top, and 2 laps will remain. We hopefully this time around, even though the safety car lights have been out, hopefully this time around it will peel away. We are now going through turn number 18. Into the bus stop, the chicane, turns number 19 and 20. Will the safety car peel off this time? Yes, it does. And that means that Gene Rollinson can get the race underway. We are green and we are go. It was a good start. There is no one on his tailpipe, so absolutely no pressure coming into turn number 1. Jack Coford in behind. Then it is Patrick going in. He is losing a spot straight away to Sturrock. Sturrock from 4th, just had to slot back in behind. Sabo in 5th. He's not going to make a move here. He has to stay clean and safe. He's got to think about his championship. Dunstall, Walton further back. They are all filing through, but there are no tight battle packs except there between Sabo, Sturrock and Patrick. This is where the race is going to be with 2 laps to go. Who will blink? Who will make a mistake? Sabo's gone down the inside, and he's going to make a great run into turn number 7 and 8. 2 positions gained. He is now 3rd place in the race, and there has been a spin. It is Sturrock into the kitty litter. As I said earlier, it's going to happen, and it did, and he's going to lose massive amounts of positions. He is dropping from 3rd place down into 18th, but back in the front of the field, it is Rollinson, Coford, Sabo, Patrick and Dunstall in your top 5. Andrew, that is what we expected. Someone to make a mistake.
Yeah, just a mistake there, and Sturrock unfortunately ran wide, so he's going to have lost a ton of track position. But yeah, at the front now, this is a pretty exciting 2-lap sprint to the finish. So here we see Sabo tucked in behind Jack Coford. We jump on board. Is he going to get the lap? Not here, so look for a clean exit as they come out of curve. I'll get it out there one day. So he's got the overlap, he's got the draft. Is he going to get down the inside here? Yes, he's got the overlap.
Yep, Coford will have to let him go. He has to give way here. Surely he's not going to try and stay on the outside in the marbles. He doesn't. He realises that, well, he still has to put up a fight, but you can only fight so hard before you end up losing out as well and sliding off the circuit. So that moves Sabo up into 2nd. Rollinson is ahead of him now. And this is massive for Sabo because he needs to gain these points back. But he doesn't have to win this race. He won the previous race. He only has to be on the podium here with 1 lap remaining for him to gain valuable championship points with 4 races in the season remaining. Further back in the field, we look at James Anderson moving up 25 positions. He's now clean out on his own in 7th with Andrew Waite and Cole Scott following in behind. They aren't going to be too much of a problem. That's Andrew Waite there in the Shell Helix traditional BMW iRacing feature livery. So he hasn't got his own custom livery for the M8. He's going with the Trading Paints and iRacing standard, which still looks pretty good. And he's going to have a crack at Scott here, and he's going to try it down the outside and try and clean up on the inside for turn number 8, and he's made it stick. That is a really good job there from Andrew Waite.
That's a professional pass there, that's showing the skill that he has, and everyone's going defensive now. So Andrew's just blocking off the inside line there. He did all the hard work. So we shuffle back here to Patterson. He's run a little bit wide. Going to have to gather it up. Scott ahead, he's just lost a little bit of ground, but Griffin and Lamont behind. Oh, got a bit of a tank slapper on. Oh, as he sent it through the fence. Oh, he's had to exit because he's actually got stuck in the fence.
Oh dear. Oh, well, let's go
back to the pit lane, and he's taking his overalls off right about now.
Yeah, the car's not going on the trailer. It's getting towed. So we go to the front of the
Crusher.
field. Yeah, that's right. We are on our last lap of this feature. It is Sabo, who we missed,
Sabo.
did get in front of Rollinson. I expected it to happen. I wanted to watch the drama further back because we knew this was going to be our podium. But Sabo has got in front, and he is showing a very clean pair of heels, as the saying goes, as he comes into the final turns. He is into turn number 19 now. And this should be the checkered flag if my calculations are right and everything's going to plan. Sabo will take a 2 from 2 for the evening. Round number 4 at Spa-Francorchamps. Yes, he does. Gene Rollinson in second, Kofod in third. Dunstall should come in fourth with Patrick in 5. Well, a wonderful run there. Andrew Waite is going to slot himself into 8th position there, Andrew. And Matthew Griffin, he's just coming into turn 19 and 20 now. He'll be back in 11th, which is quite... Oh, sorry, he's gone to turn 1. It's quite a good recovery.
Yes, it was a great recovery and a great sprint race to the finish there as we see the field crossing the finish line. So
and doing their chaos.
Yes, this is traditional in iRacing. But possibly a couple of laps longer in the safety car than we would have liked, but it certainly didn't diminish the action that we had there over the closing couple of laps.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, okay, that was interesting, and it certainly made a big difference in the points championship table. We'll just wait for that to appear. I don't know if the system is going to bring that to us in regards to the overall points in the championship, but knowing that Sabo has got a 2 from 2, that's the really important part here. That has been massive for his championship hunt. 2 more rounds remaining, and that means 4 races in total. And that is Kieran Rollinson we just followed. I know he was trying to chase someone down to attack him after the race, and I don't know who it was. It's quite interesting. But let's bring up the results, shall we, from that race, with Antal Rafael Sabo winning again. Gene Rollinson, who did lead the championship coming into this race meeting, he should still hold sway, finishing second in that race. Kofod, Dunstall and Patrick make up your top 5, with Walton Anderson, Waite, Scott and Patterson your 10. Griffin, Bickley, Sturrock, Patterson, Cairns, Cullingford, Goebel are into positions number 17, and Matthew Griffin gets to... Matthew Giuntini goes into 18. Driver and Joshua Andrew make up your top 20. Pretty good result overall for the front runners, Andrew, those who are desperate to make headlines and gain those championship points. It ended up being a successful night for them.
It certainly did, and it was a bit of a masterclass there put out by Sabo, coming from the rear of the field to get all the way through to the first position. It's certainly going to be the drive of the night. But yeah, up and down the field, we saw it. We tried to capture as much of it as we could. And Spa lived up to its status there of putting on some great racing in the BMWs tonight. So it certainly was an action-packed race, and we hope you enjoyed what you saw.
Yep, exactly. Definitely, and it's next Monday night. I hope you're available, Andrew. Thank you very much for your time again, giving up your valuable life to be part of the BMW Race Drivers E-Series. And you know, that's why you paid the big dollars, isn't it?
Oh, is that check coming through?
Oh, yeah. Keep an eye on your letterbox.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Andrew Anderson, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's us signing off from Spa-Francorchamps, one of the greatest, if not the greatest racetrack in the world. We had a little bit of fun with the New Zealand BMW Race Drivers E-Series, and we'll be back with round 5 in a week's time. Hope you can join us. And again, thank you very much.